Welcome to the channel. I'm going to address something that I think people should know about, and it's about we are responsible for raising our children. Growing up, there was always this debate about who should raise up the children: the schools, society, the parents. And a lot of times the parents think the school should teach the kids everything. And then you have those who think the parents should teach children everything. Well, it's the parents that are responsible. The schools are for basic education. But when it comes to social, mental, and religious things in a child's life, that is the parent's responsibility. In Proverbs it says, "Train up the child in the ways he should go, and when he is old he will not depart from it." So when you teach your children as they grow up, they're going to remember things that you taught them. Now they may not act like they do, especially when they're teenagers, but as they get older they think about, what did mama say, what did daddy say, or whoever raised them. And so what you teach them and how you present yourself before them is how they're going to act and react in life. So a parent, say like they love to race cars and speed down the highway. Children see that and they will mimic what their parents do. In psychology, we learned that in developmental behavior, children mimic everything the parents do. What you say, how you say it, how you drive, if you drink, if you smoke, whatever you do, kids will mimic that. So what we teach our children, we should do ourselves. You cannot cuss and then tell your child not to, because the child is going to use you as an example. In Colossians it says, "Fathers, do not embitter your children, or they will become discouraged." Cause somebody to be resentful. Don't beat your children. Don't yell at them. Don't cuss at them. Don't treat them negatively, because that has an effect on a child. And sometimes those things can cause other issues, mental issues, like post-traumatic syndrome, depression, anxiety. What we should do is be loving to our children and care for them. Because I think of children are a blessing from God. And that God has given us children to take care of for them. The children are a gift from the Lord. They are a reward from Him. I've seen all the other translations. I think NLT, to me, says it better, that they are a gift and they are a reward to us. And we should treat the gift that God has given us with care and not abuse it. There's many parents who have abused their children, and that's not what God wants us to do. Not yell at them, not call them names, not tell them that you hate them. That's not what God wants. God wants us to love our children bring them up in the right ways. Bring them up knowing who God is and what Jesus Christ did for them to save them from their sins. So always take to heart what God has given and think about how you raise your child. And how you raise your child, think about if that's how you would have wanted to be raised. If you yell and scream at your child, would you have liked that? If it happened to you, did you like it? If you beat your child, were you beaten? Did you like it or did you not like it? And think about what God's thinking. You know, do you think God wants you to do that? Do you think that would be okay in God's eyes? Because He sees everything we do and He hears everything we say. So, if you have children, raise them in a loving, caring environment. Should we discipline our children? Of course. But there's a right way and a wrong way of doing it. And we should teach our children useful and helpful things that will be with them for the rest of their life. You know, that's what I do with my son. I set him down and I teach him things in life that will help him. And he remembers those things. You know, we're not perfect, but we try. We can only try our best. And be careful in what we teach our children. And try to be an example to your child. Don't teach them one thing and then you do the opposite of it. Because your child's watching you. And they will point out, well, you said for me to do this, but you're doing that. You're going to get called out on it. So be an example to your child of how you want them to be. And if you're doing something wrong, don't do it anymore. Show them the right way of doing things. So when they get old, they can show their children the right way. Because how you raise your child is how they're going to raise your grandchildren. And then your great-grandchildren, and so forth. So be a good example. And teach them good things in life. And teach them about God. Raise them in a godly home. We've been teaching my son about Jesus since he was little. So, go give your child a hug today and love them as much as you can, because they are a gift from the Lord.